obviously now Xbox Series X lower resolution in those moments than PS5. So that's something to of keep in mind. They also introduced quality modes on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and these are kind of interesting. I don't know. What's your take on them, John?
I appreciate them giving us the option. You know, this seems to run at native 4K, and I think both of us looked at it. It just seems to be locked there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense considering what we've been seeing in the performance mode. So you get much sharper visuals overall, but the drop all the way to 30, I mean, you really feel it. But at the same time, I mean, it's a difficult one because this is the Assassin's Creed series, and console players, this is the first time we've ever had a 60 FPS Assassin's Creed on consoles. I think there's probably a certain subset of people that would be perfectly fine with 30 FPS in this game. So it's good that they have provided the option for those that would like it. So I can't really fault them for that.
I think it's nice to have options too. I personally would just keep playing the 60 FPS mode because it's pretty great after this patch.
Same.
You know, when going through the footage, the only thing that's kind of, I think I should say about the frame rate here, which did, you know, it's native 4K the entire time, every single time I counted on both machines, is that in cutscenes, you'll still see a bit of a stutter when the camera angle changes. So that's another thing that to just kind of keep in mind. Some of the cutscenes don't look completely fluid.
And speaking of cutscenes, did they fix the camera stutter during the cutscenes?
No, not at all. So this does not happen on the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation consoles in general, but on Xbox Series X, S, and I also believe PC.
It's so weird.
Still see the camera cutscene stutter. So when it swirls around the scene, you'll see the camera moving erratically, which it's not the frame rate once again. It's just the way it is.
Okay, what I really want to get to now, and this is the one that surprised me the most, is they added a 60 frames per second mode to Xbox Series S.
Yeah, right?
Which is unusual and not something we would normally see, so I actually have to applaud Ubisoft here for going the extra mile and delivering this mode. I haven't seen this myself in person. You're the one that has done all the testing here. Mm-hmm. So I guess my big question is, one, how does it run? And two, what did they sacrifice to get there?
To sacrifice, they kind of dropped the resolution. You know, it was somewhere between around 1620p-ish going down to, I think at its lowest, 1188p when we last counted it, with more often than not somewhere in between those two values in normal gameplay.
During the 30 FPS mode.
During the 30 FPS, now what is labeled as quality mode.
Right.
Now, though, in the performance mode, it'll be dropping down to, I think, a lowest resolution that I counted was 720p. And you'll see some other values above that at times, like slightly above 800p. But in general, I definitely counted a lot of 720p when playing this. And I think this drop in resolution for 60 FPS makes a lot of sense as a sacrifice, considering Series X cannot always hit 60 FPS at 1440p. And, you know, we're expecting about 1/4 the power here on this console in comparison to the Series X.
So it's kind of scaling with expectation.